Hi, in this video I'm going to introduce you to IBM Decision Optimization on Cloud REST API. IBM Decision Optimization on Cloud, also called DoCloud for short, is a software as a service from IBM to let you solve CPLEX and OPL problems on the cloud. You can access to the interactive service called DropSolve, or you can use the API to integrate the service into your application. To know more about the API, first click on the Go to Developer Community. Then click on Get Started. The Get Started page will indicate how you can register for your trial account, how to get your API key and base URL to access the service, and will guide you through the next steps. To access the service and integrate it into your application, you can use the REST API or the Java API, which is a wrapper on top of the REST API. This time, I'm going to focus on the REST API itself. Here, by looking at the section REST API, you can get access to a full sample. The API works with three main steps. First, you can create a job, send the model and data. Then you can submit and monitor the job. Finally, you can get the results and the logs. This example gives you all the steps you need to perform using curl. But before doing that, let's take a look at the documentation. Click on REST reference and access REST reference. Now let's look at the API in more details. The first thing you will need to do is to create a job. You can do that by accessing the job URL and using the post method. By clicking on URL, it will open a section to display more information, list the different parameters, and the different type of response message that you can get. The Try It button will let you also try the API. Here we are not connected to a real service. We have not registered, we are not using an API key, but there is a simulator that will let you play with the API. So let's try to create a new job. To do so, I need to provide a JSON document that will list the attachments that I need to create. So there is a JSON document with an attachment property, which is a list, and inside the list, each element will give a name to the attachment that you want to create. Here, let's say that I want to upload an attachment that is called model.mod. And I click on Try It Out. As you can see, there is a response code 201 that is returned, which means that the job has been created, and I can see that the job ID has been returned into the location header. So now, if I want to list my jobs with the get on the URL jobs, I can click on Try It Out button, and I will get the list of jobs, which is a list of one job, the one I just created. As you can see, the type of the job has been automatically assigned to OPL here because I have sent a .mod file. I can also access this specific job by providing the ID of that job here there is a parameter, job ID, so I can paste the job that I created and click on try it out. As you can see, it returns the job I created. Let's close those sections. The next step, now that I have declared the attachment model.mod, is to upload it. For that, I'm going to call a put on the attachment blob URL. I need to provide the job ID, the attachment ID, which is the name of the attachment, and as this is a simulator, here I'm not going to provide a real.mod, but just some content. This is a mod file, and click on try it out to upload this. I can check that it was uploaded correctly by using the get. Again, I can give the job ID, the name of the attachment, and you can see here in the response body that this is a mod file. This is the text that I typed earlier. So my job has been created. It has a mod file attached to it, and now I need to indicate that it is ready to be executed. To do that, I'm going to call a post on the execute URL. I provide the job ID and click on try it out. As you can see, it is successful, returned with the code 204. I can check the status of the job. So at this point, the job has been submitted and it is probably running. Even it could be completed. We are going to check for that. To do that, I can do a get on the execute URL. I give the job ID and click on try it out. Yes, it is executed. As you can see, the status has been returned. Next, I could check for the output attachments and download the solutions. I could also look at the logs, but actually this is a simulator and not all the functions are available. So let's now try to use the real API, and for that let's go back to the documentation of the REST API and look at the example. To use curl, you will need three things: the API key, the base URL of the server, and the ID of the job that will be created and that will be reused in many curl commands. I'm going to start a bash shell, and I am in a directory where I have an LP file that I want to submit. I have also created two variables, one called key to store my API key, and another one called URL for the base URL. So the first step is to create the job and declare that we are going to upload the LP attachment. So here I'm sending the key, and I'm sending also the JSON document where I have one attachment, oil blending.lp. As you can see, the location header has been returned and I'm going to store the result of that ID into a variable. Okay, now I can check the content of my job. You can see that it returned the document of the job with everything in it. Next, I'm going to upload the attachment. So just to let you see better, let me browse a little bit, and here you can see that I have sent the file allblending.lp to the URL of the attachment. So it is uploaded. Now I can execute my job. As you remember, we can do a post on the execute. It returned 204, so that's fine. Now I can get the state of my job. It is processed, as you can see. So I can list the output attachment. I have one output attachment called a solution.json. So I'm going to get it and store it as a file locally. It's done. I can check that I have a file called solution.json in my local directory. I can see the content. Okay, that's a JSON CPLEX solution. And I can also get the log. Like this, by a get on the log. It is stored as a file. I can check locally. Yes, I have a log.txt file. Cat. I can display it, and this is the log. As you can see, in a few commands, you can create a job, upload your attachment or your data, monitor your job, get the results. That's it. Thank you.